2020 has been a year we likely will not forget in the coming times. Political battles, sanctions aside, the first quarter of 2020 will forever be remembered as the birth of COVID-19, the coronavirus. A clear pandemic that has globally swept the streets. No one can deny the effect this virus has had. At the time of this recording, there's been over 250,000 people infected with 11,000 deaths. With an event as tragic as this, obvious repercussions are needed, such as social distancing, working from home, and closing neighborhood borders. But one annulment that sticks out more than the rest is the current suspension of all sports. NBA, NCAA, NHL have closed their doors for the time being, leaving a gaping crater for entertainment. The UFC has tried everything they can do to continue, such as potentially moving events on 6 days' notice to Indian reserves, but alas, that too has succumbed to the COVID-19 heavyweight champion. With this, a lot of events and fights have been postponed, leaving fans wondering what will happen. Hi, I'm Sasha. Today I'm jumping over the cage to talk about 10 fighters who are impacted by COVID-19. Number 10, Michelle Waterson. She's most on this list because she's so damn hot. Number 9, I'm joking. The 34-year-old karate hottie is coming off a loss to the beast of hematomas Joanna Jędrzejczyk back in October and was looking for a rebound win against Carla Esparza. Can't believe she is still fighting. Prior to losing to Joanna, she was on a 3-fight winning streak, and it looked like the hopeful first mom champion in the UFC was gaining momentum in what could have been a title fight. A bounce-back win would have regained all that momentum, and the UFC would have absolutely given the karate hottie a push to the top, solely based on her amazing MMA skills. However, it seems things will have to wait for Waterson, as her expected bout at UFC on ESPN 30 will be postponed. Now, Michelle Waterson will be active on Instagram, so fans like you and I, we can still enjoy the karate hottie's presence on our social Instagram and social media presence. Don't act like you don't follow her for other external reasons, you sick son of a... Number 9, Raoni Barcelos. Another 34-year-old on this list, but Raoni Barcelos is an absolute beast. He may be good looking, but as opposed to the number 10 entrant, we are focused on Raoni's MMA skills. Currently riding an 8-fight winning streak, 4 of which in the UFC, and currently undefeated in the UFC. He's holding a professional record of 15 wins, 1 loss, and he was scheduled to fight Cody Stamann at UFC on ESPN 8. Cody Stamann in his own right is an incredible MMA fighter, and both of these guys were rising prospects in the UFC's bantamweight division. This fight would have absolutely shown who the next contender is, and may have propelled for an eventual title elimination fight for the winner. Raoni's stock has never been higher after his last fight where he defeated Said Nurmagomedov. Raoni's momentum has been abruptly stopped by the coronavirus. Hopefully after, we can see this fight and see who the next prospect and next contender is in the 135-pound division. Number 8, Greg Hardy, the Prince of War, the puffer steroid gate maestro, the 5-2 push kingpin. Say what you will about Greg Hardy, woman abuser, DQ specialist, awful human being. Greg Hardy is an attraction. He may have the most entertaining start to a UFC career ever. He's currently 2-2-1 with one of those losses coming from disqualification. His last fight saw him fight current top 10 UFC heavyweight Alexander Volkov in a lopsided unanimous decision loss. But that was to be expected. Hardy took the fight on super short notice, weeks after the steroid puffergate fiasco, against a man who has 5 times more fight experience. The man likes to fight, and it seems he's taking it more seriously now than ever before. It would have been awesome to watch Hardy fight again after his fight with Volkov, but we'll have to wait a little longer to see the Prince of War return. And to be honest, I don't think he is focusing on pure power anymore. I think after his last couple of fights, he is focusing on sharpening himself as an MMA athlete. Number 7, Marvin Vettori. Ah yes, Marvin Vettori. What can be said about this young man from Italy? 26 years old, holds a record of 14 wins, 3 losses, 4-2 in the UFC. Seemingly a good prospect in the middleweight division, But why does it matter if his fight was called off? Why does he make the list? Well, in April 2018, Marvin had himself a very close fight with a man people may have heard of, current middleweight champion Israel Adesanya. Vettori lost that fight by split decision and is argued as one of the closest MMA fights Adesanya has had in his career thus far. Well, okay, let's be real. The Gastelum fight was also super close, but Gastelum just got murked in the 5th round, so Another thorn in Marvin's career was he eventually got caught by Papa USADA. But after coming back from suspension and going 2-0, it seems you're witnessing Marvin approach his greatness and his peak and performance. Always a shame when someone who's finally getting their groove in the UFC see their fight get postponed due to external reasons. Number 6, Edmund Shabazian. Take everything I said about Marvin Vettori and multiply it by 5. Edmund is a true prospect in every sense of the word. 11-0, undefeated, 5-0 in the UFC if you count his Dana White Contender Series win, and looks absolutely amazing. Oh, and he's only 22. 22. What makes this young lad all that much more entertaining is that when he comes to fight, he comes to hurt his opponents. In his last 3 fights, his fights did not make it to the 3rd minute of the 1st round. Wait, what? All of them? Except what? First? Really? Actually, wait. Besides only his fight against Darren Stewart, all of his fights ended in the 1st round. This kid is legit a future star, and we just really want to see what he can do with the rise of opponents and rise in ranks of who he's fighting, with Derek Brunson being his next opponent. Unfortunately for Brunson, he's now seen more as a gatekeeper, so... Number 5, Tyron Woodley. The Chosen One. Truly a specimen and still one of the best fighters in the welterweight division. The former champion successfully defended his title twice, but ultimately got mopped by Kamaru Usman. That was way back in March of last year, and Tyron properly took some time off to regroup and refocus his career. Rapping aside, Woodley is talented. His wrestling is top notch, his power is frightening, and his experience, he has a lot of experience. Scheduled to fight against Leon Edwards on enemy territory, this could have been the perfect fight for Tyron to get right back into title contention. Leon, on his own right, is an incredible fighter on a great fight streak, and if Tyron could have gotten the win, the Chosen One may have booked himself a rematch against the man who dethroned him, Kamaru Usman. But seriously, Tyron, please stop rapping. Please stop, man. Please. Number 4, Walt Harris. All jokes aside, we want to express our condolences to the Harris family for the tragic events that unfolded regarding the death of his stepdaughter, Anaya Blanchard. Walt has had himself a bit of a rocky start in his MMA career, especially in the UFC. Those who may not have remembered, Harris was the person who accepted to fight Fabricio Verdum on a couple hours notice at UFC 216, and Fabricio's original opponent, Derek Lewis, pulled from the fight due to back pain. Harris eventually lost that fight via armbar in the 1st minute and just got exposed by Fabricio Verdum in the difference in the ground game. Harris has pulled himself a very nice and comfy 3-fight sort of win streak. I say sort of because he has a no contest fight with Andrei Arlovsky in 2018, but besides that, Harris has looked pretty impressive with his last fight coming with the win over Alexei Oleinik. What made seeing Walt fight again was the sheer cheer and support he would have gotten from the MMA community after the loss of his daughter. And it's safe to say that after this delay with coronavirus, it's been a very tough time for the Harris family. Number 3, Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I got that the first time. You can double check it. I got that correct. The big boy, the big dog, the undefeated specimen. It's always exciting to see the UFC heavyweight star emerge out of nowhere, especially one that can take the head off of his opponent, especially one who was supposed to fight another fellow KO specialist in Francis Ngannou. Fuck, I hate you, COVID-19. But here we are making videos instead to get our MMA fix. But seriously, what can we say about Rozenstruik? KO's Junior Albini in his UFC debut, KO's Alan Crowder in 9 seconds. He's the guy who Greg Hardy kneed illegally and got disqualified. KO Arlovsky in 30 seconds, and takes out Overeem in the 5th round of their fight. This man knows how to fight and is able to go the distance and maintain that power, something Francis Ngannou struggled with in the past. Francis has destructive Super Saiyan kamikaze bombs, and this fight would have deemed who was truly the KO maniac in the UFC's heavyweight division. Number 2, Leon Edwards. I'll come out and say it, I don't really like watching Leon Edwards fight. I'm sorry, I don't. But that's more of a me problem and nothing more. Leon Edwards is on a welterweight roll. 8-fight win streak. Last loss coming at the hands of Kamaru Usman, who is the current champion. Not a big deal. And he was easily booked to fight the biggest fight of his career in his home country of England. Everything was perfect and set up for Edwards. If he won, continue the streak to 9, defeating a former champion, proving how good you are, and having the pop and cheer of your home crowd as you call for a rematch with the last man to beat you. Leon looked sharp in training footages, looked amazing in his last fight, and looked like he may have been in the best shape of his life. But oh wait, here comes COVID-19. Stripping the opportunity away. What's funny to me is the fact that Leon actually tried to go back to the States on 6 days notice, but it was just an impossible task. It's a shame really, and we do hope for Leon's sake that the fight gets rebooked, or at least he gets another fight with a big time opponent in the future. And number 1, Tony versus Khabib. I'm going off script for this one. This was gonna be straight from the source. I don't know what the fuck is going on with this fight anymore. Tony Ferguson versus Khabib Nurmagomedov has been scheduled 5 times, folks, and all 5 times have seemingly been canceled. The first time, these guys were relatively unknowns. It was a great fight in the lightweight division, you know, it made sense, and then Tony got injured. Second time around, okay, these guys have more momentum. This is going to be a bit of an eliminator for top 10 poise. Khabib gets injured. Third time, these guys have been well established. They need to fight to see who the next title contender is. What happens? Khabib never fails because he ate tiramisu the week of the fight and he had to push himself to cut weight. Wow, this is when the fight started to be rumored to be really cursed. 3rd time's a charm, 3 times off. This was the first time this has happened in the UFC. 4th time. This is the time where it should have happened. This is a time where Khabib was a champion, Tony was interim. These guys were the faces of the UFC, faces of the lightweight division. Both these guys seemed undefeatable. Both these guys just seemed like they were having everything they needed and looked like they were truly the best. But the only thing stopping them was the person staring in front of them. Everything was perfect. Everyone was aware of the curse. 3 times before, failure, whatever. 4th time, not a chance. Tony Ferguson wears sunglasses inside and trips over a cable, resulting in a knee tear. The fight was obviously cancelled off 2 days before the fight started. But when they announced it for the 5th time, you were damn sure that everyone was on their best behavior to make sure no one got injured. Weight cuts are right, no ropes, no cables were inside. This was the time, folks, the 5th time. Nothing was going to stop these two unless a global pandemic by virus sweeping the country gets announced. This fight has not yet officially been cancelled, and Dana White is doing everything he possibly can to not cancel it, but it's not happening in Brooklyn, folks. It's not going to happen in Las Vegas, so I don't know what kind of sorcery Dana White's going to have to pull off to get this fight to happen a 5th time, but I sure as hope it fucking happens, because 5 times,